I just want to say, what kind of thirsty ass mosquito bites you on the back of the freaking neck? Like, you that hungry? Let's talk about Love After Lockup, episode 14, season 6. So, let's start off with Joella, Kiana, and Demadric. So, on the last episode, I believe where we left off at was Kiana going into the bathroom. She was getting a phone call, and she took her mic off while she went into the bathroom. She has a restraining order filed against her by Miss Joella. So we get Miss Joella in the confessionals basically saying that her tires were popped and there was an expletive written across her windshield, and they showed the picture of it, and the car was indeed on some flats and it said dumb hoe. The motive is there because Kiana is the only person that I've been getting into it with, you know. And then like a few weeks prior, Kiana posts a picture of Joella in her lingerie. So I feel like the motive is there. If you would go through somebody's phone and then post somebody's, you know, they're not necessarily nudes, but risque photos online and write nasty comments underneath it, maybe it's not so far-fetched to believe that you would pop some tires over this man. And then we also have to remember that Demadric cheated on Kiana twice with Joella. He cheated twice with his baby mama. So there's also a motive there. Kiana goes and talks to Demadric about it, and she's just like, what is she trying to pull? She's trying to break us up, you know, basically because Demadric is on parole. You know, I don't believe that he is allowed to live in the same house with somebody who has like any police contact, or, you know what I'm saying, is in trouble with the law. So that could jeopardize their living situation. And she's expressing that to Demadric, like, you know, she's trying to do this whole, if I can't have him, then no one can have him type of thing. And I guess I can understand. I mean, I guess, but I wasn't too sold. I wasn't really all that sold. But then again, Joella seems always, she doesn't really react a lot to anything, Miss Joella. So it's hard for me to say whether I truly believe Kiana did it or not. But based off of how her face looked, based off of how Kiana's face looked when she was explaining it to Demadric, and Demadric asked her, did she do it? She looked a little hesitant, so I'm not too sold that she didn't do it. But I guess we're gonna find out if she did or not. But Demadric goes over to Joella's house, catches her outside. She bringing the packages in the house or whatever. They go in there and she's like, yeah, like, you know, somebody popped my tires. I had to pay like $600 for the tires and this, that, and the third. And he was like, yeah, like, Kiana, too many people names to freaking remember. Yeah, Kiana received like some phone call or like something in the mail, something stating that she has a restraining order put out on her. So he was like, basically, this shit match up. You know, why are you, you know, saying that she did it? He was like, did you see her? Did you see her? And she was just like, I didn't have to see her. Like, I know she did it. Like, she's the only one who has a motive. And he was just like, she didn't do it. And he said, like, he would give her the money for the tires, basically, if she drops the restraining order. So we'll see how that goes. And they were getting into it about Kiana showing up to the baby's birthday party too, which I can understand. Demadric says he's gonna bring Kiana anyways. I don't know that that's the best idea. Demadric, that's not the best idea that you had the whole season. Like, this is, and if I'm being quite honest, Demadric hasn't had a lot of good ideas since the season started. We only about like what, maybe like 4 episodes into the season. Demadric has not had a lot of good ideas. Okay, it was not a good idea for him to go sleep with Joella again, or to go over her house, or whatever he did. Okay, Lord Jesus, this couple. But we gonna find out next week. Miss Zariah is getting on my nerves I really spoke too soon when it came to Zariah. Like, I really thought we were on the straight and narrow, Zariah. Like, I really thought you were done being a gaslighter and being annoying, but you completely just disproved that. Troy says that he's gonna drive up to, where does he live? I don't know why I want to say Yonkers. It's not Yonkers. He's gonna drive up to Buffalo by himself, and he's gonna come back. And Zariah, I keep wanting to say Joella. It's too many names to remember. Zariah is making a big deal about it. She's just like, oh, well, you already had your bags packed, so obviously you knew what was going on. No, that's not what that means. How did you just put that together? How did that just make sense to you? He told you that they told him it was an emergency about his brother, but he doesn't know what's going on. He's telling the truth. And then in your mind, you're like, no, he knows what's going on. You know, he knows, and he's not telling me. And you're saying that because he packed his bags that he knew what was going on. No, that's not, no. Zariah, no. But then again, like I said, Zariah goes on, and she's just like, oh, is he living some kind of double life? Where the fuck did you even get that from? How does your mind work, Zariah? This man ain't giving you no reason to believe that he's messing with anybody else. He got a job. He take care of home. He love the kids. He has done nothing. He would love nothing more than to stay home and to help y'all put up decorations for Christmas. I could understand if he was doing something before that would have alluded to that, to him being a cheater or him having a double life. But him having a conversation with his sister about a medical emergency or some kind of emergency that his brother may be having does not indicate that he is living a double life. And I feel like most of the stuff that she says to Troy is a projection. And it's a projection because she still feels guilty about cheating on him while he was in jail. And so because she feels guilty about that and she's anticipating, you know, some get back, she's accusing him. And his mom, I feel so sorry for Troy because he seems like a really sweet boy. But his mom, Miss Karen, do not give a fuck. You know, it really makes me think, and it really makes me wonder what it was like for Troy to grow up with that kind of mother that may be a little emotionally inept, like who doesn't have a lot of feelings to give growing up as a child. It just makes me think like maybe there might be a little void there. You know, maybe not even just for Troy, but for all of them. So I felt really, really sad for him. Also, she's calling Zariah the B word. And it's just like, this man is expressing to you that you need to respect his wife. This man has a wife. So his wife and his family come first now. But I'm glad they found his brother. And, you know, they had a really sentimental moment, all three of them, at the cemetery for their brother who was shot and killed. It was a really sad moment, you know, but I was glad to see that his brother was okay. And, you know, they really went out of their way to check on their sibling. And, you know, as long as they have that, they have something. I was so confused about the Brooke, Alex, and Bonnie situation. Because when I saw the previews, I thought that Bonnie was Alex. When Brooke went to the restaurant to go talk to the girl about her losing her job, that was Bonnie. And Bonnie is friends with Brooke, and just kidding, J.K., for y'all who don't know. Brooke confided in her. Bonnie went and told J.K. And basically, Brooke told Bonnie that she could get out of her house then. So Bonnie is moving her stuff, getting ready to go or whatever. Brooke and Bonnie are going back and forth outside, you know, and Bonnie's like, oh, I found a house. Well, good on you, Bonnie. I'm glad you found a house. But also it's so weird because it's just like, why would you do that knowing you were staying with that girl? Why would you go and tell JK knowing you were staying with that girl? And basically, Bonnie was like, well, I was friends with both of y'all. And I felt like this is like detrimental information. While I do agree Like, her not having a job is a big deal, but you were living in her house. This is how you know this is really some country bumpkin shit. Like, this is really some ghetto ass, country ass shit. Cause I did not know Bonnie was living with Brooke. I did not even know Brooke had her own house. Every time I see her on screen, she's at Just Kidding's house. Just Kidding's parents' house, sorry. And Bonnie drops a bombshell on Brooke, and she tell her that actually Alex had a miscarriage. She miscarried JK's baby, and Brooke is basically like, you can't believe anything Bonnie says. How we can't believe anything Bonnie says? But you literally lost your job because you went to go see if this man was at Alex's house, and he was. He was. And honestly, I think she's just having fun being messy. I think she's just having fun being messy. It's low stakes for her. She had already found a place. She don't really care too much about getting kicked out. Nothing like that. And then she also tells her that, you know, JK has been going over there, has been going over to see Miss Alex. So, yeah. And Brooke is like, I'm gonna catch up with that bitch. Brooke is so ghetto. Brooke is so ghetto. But this family is entertaining. So, Love After Lockup, keep them on here, okay? Okay. They're entertaining, that's for sure. It's never no shortage of mess with this family. But also something that was really sad, they think that JK may have relapsed on drugs, and I totally forget about that when GK, just kidding, comes on the screen, that he was a former addict, or still a recovering addict, I should say. The mom says that she has videos of him seeming like he's on something, so, you know. But Brooke says that she gonna go meet up with that bitch Alex, and she gonna tell her about herself, and she got another thing coming. So Alex better have her do something. I seen that preview. It looked like Brooke stuck her one good time. I'm like, Brooke is so ghetto, but that's, you know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Will breaks up with Courtney over the phone, you know, because the trick is doing too much in the background. Will is just like, you know, you have another man in the background. You sitting up here lying to me, and she is lying. And I really don't think that, God, what is her name? Courtney. I really don't think Courtney was taking, like, the marriage between her and Will serious. I think she saw it for her to have another trick, you know. And she swears that she's not turning any tricks for Mark. Is that his name? I don't think Courtney is ready to get married, unfortunately. I really did like her and Will together at first, but I think she's not really ready to recover right now. Will ends up breaking up with her, and he goes to see a divorce lawyer. But, you know, you would think that because they've only been married 6 weeks, that he should be able to get an annulment. So then we pan over to Courtney, who is still in Portland. She needs money. She hasn't gotten her first check from her mechanic job yet. And her friend who she met in prison comes to pick her up. But girl, her and her friend is kissing. Courtney, you a little curious, girl. You a little biracial. Her homegirl go to pick her up, take her to the pawn shop. Courtney like, I'm finna get 20K for this ring. I'm finna pawn the fuck out of this ring. I'm finna pawn the fuck out of this ring. Who's gonna pawn that cheetah print coat too? I don't know, y'all. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know. She goes in there, she gives her ring to the person, and I'm not gonna lie. When she gave her ring to the person and they zoomed in on the camera, I was like, that motherfucker look kind of fake. That motherfucker look big and fake. Lady took it back there, but I'm sure that lady who has been working in that pawn shop for maybe decades knew that shit was fake when she passed it to her. Lady was like, how much you hoping to get for it? 20K? Like, girl, was you saying that to be funny? Was she trying to be funny when she said that? Because you knew the shit was fake before you even went to go get the diamond tester, but whatever. Come back and test it. She's like, it's not real. It's costume jewelry. The diamond tester don't never go off. And the lady was like, it's costume jewelry. It's worth about $6 if I were to sell it. And she told her that she didn't want her jacket neither. She was like, I don't want this leopard. I don't want this little cheetah print that you got neither. So, I don't know what you gonna do, sister. It looked like the friend really wanted to laugh. And she was like, you deserve a better ring. Like, Courtney don't need to be getting married right now. Like, she's living the hot girl lifestyle. You're, you know, jumping from trick to trick, you know what I'm saying, for you know, whoever finna give you money at the time. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of excuses. Courtney don't take no accountability for her own actions. Everything is always somebody else's fault because someone else won't help her. And she doesn't realize that she has messed up many, many times in her life. And she has basically used up all her, not forgiveness coupons, but she has used up all her sympathy coupons with them. And so as much as people may care for her in her life, they're not going to continue to enable her behavior by, you know, letting her think that every time she gets into an issue with a man, or, you know what I'm saying, she gets out or she goes back in, that they can be used for money. And so she goes outside and she calls her mom or whatever, and the mom is basically like, Courtney, you only call me when you need money. Like, you don't call me for nothing else. And that's real. Like, that's facts. Like, I'm not gonna want to give any money to someone who's only contacting me for that sole reason. The mom basically was like, you didn't even call me to let me know that you were out of jail, that you were safe, but you're gonna call me because you need a few dollars. And basically mom just gave her some tough love, and she was like, Courtney, I'm not bailing your ass out this time. I'm not doing it. Love you to death, but no. Courtney's not doing that bad. You know, she's not out on the streets. She know where to get a dollar from. So I guess that's the end of her and Will's relationship, and I stand by Will. I'm glad Will stood on business, stood on big business. Okay, she didn't even last 6 weeks. She didn't even last 3 months. She didn't even last 90 days. You know, I don't blame Will. You know what I'm saying? Within the first 6 weeks, she went back to jail. She needed to get bailed out. You know what I'm saying? And she had another trick waiting for her at the jail. So he wasn't wrong in my opinion. But yeah, y'all, I think these is all of my thoughts that I got so far on episode 14 of season 6 of Love or Life After Lockup. So I'm gonna catch y'all next week for more drama. Peace.